what's the worst thing that's going to happen if you fail?
You learn.
Yeah, totally.
That's the best thing. Yeah. Yes, you fail, but you learn and pick yourself up and do it again, man.
100%.
In a different way.
100%.
You know, this isn't the first time that I've done something. So
to build up your muscles, you need to tear them down. So
absolutely.
You know, it's that's the perspective that we need to keep in mind. I think community conversation is bringing like-minded folks.
Mm-hmm. Welcome to another episode of Community Conversations, and today we are focusing on the future and how important it is to be creative. And we have the pioneer who is developing that space now, Mohamed, also known as Mo Farid. And today we're going to be talking about empowering Arab youth through community, culture, and experience. Welcome.
Welcome. Hi, Nikki. Thank you for having me.
How are you?
I'm doing great.
Yeah, yes. You are a busy man, I could see. I do ask this question before getting started is, what made you say yes to joining today's conversation?
Knowledge transfer. I think what's important is, first of all, thank you for your kind words, but it's platforms like these where we're able to exchange notes.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a big advocate on a term called communityship.
Okay.
Where in order to create real impactful change, we need to bring leaders and communities, and that's how the word communityship is made. I think by all of us having different leaders in different communities work together, that's how we can really not only grow, but impact the community around us. So, and that can only be done through knowledge transfer.
Oh, I received that. That's absolutely amazing. So knowledge transfer, really received that, especially with this technical world that we're in now. So I love that. Okay, we're going to get right into it. You are known as, and based on, you know, the conversation that we've had and your bio, that you are a cultural entrepreneur, right? Essentially, that's what you would call yourself. What does that mean?
It's a term that I started using recently.
Okay.
First of all, let's talk about how the cultural entrepreneurship ecosystem is a very niche market.
Okay.
But basically, it's bringing business and creativity for impact, and that's how I see it.
Okay.
How to use, tech uses technology, I think in this situation, it's using culture and the bigger meaning of culture. You know, culture is a set of behavior, language, habits that people use. And I think what's very important is how can we capitalize and how can we enrich the creative economy? I think 3.5% of the world GDP is based out of the creative economy.
Thank you for dropping gems right now. I didn't know that exact number, and you're absolutely right. And speaking of creativity, you have the youth company and Habibi Plz. Can you kind of like break those down first before I ask like my second question?
So the youth company is something that I founded more than 15 years ago, and right now I'm on the board of it. It's run by other people, but the youth company is really a platform that was set up to empower and develop youth. Habibi Plz is one of my most recent ventures, and I set it up while I was in Canada.
Okay.
Where my people, our voices, our experiences were not being only shunned, but they were things that we were hiding. And I think that's where the juxtaposition of a Mo and a Mohamed. Growing up and being born and raised here in Qatar, there's a sense of pride of where I come from, but also there is that Orientalism concept. I speak 4 languages fluently.
Amazing.
And that comes from the perspective of Arab, or being Arab is not good enough. Or that was what was instigated to us for so many different things. I think moving to Canada was not only a form of rebellious of showing up, but more importantly, how important it was bringing the community together.
Yeah.
So I think that's where Habibi Plz. Habibi Plz is a statement to show our culture, to be proud of it.
Yeah.
And now Habibi Plz is expanding, for the rest of the world. So
awesome.
I'm very excited.
Yeah, I love it. I think it's really great. I have a few pieces, so I'm excited to check them out. Now, you have the youth community to Habibi Plz. What inspired you to build the platforms to merge purpose with culture?
I think, first of all, without purpose, there's a quote somewhere that I love: whoever does not have a purpose will distract himself with pleasure. I think where we come from, and I'm very lucky that I've lived all over the world, but the question of purpose is what drives us, right? And for the last few years, as I said, I speak 4 or 5 languages. I'm more fluent in English and French than in Arabic, and that's quite shameful to me at this point, because I drank the Kool-Aid, like we could say, right? But it's almost jumping back into my culture and the beauty of my culture. My culture is not linear. It's it's 2/3 of religion, culture, history, and of Egyptian origin. Also, I come with an even bigger kind of background. But I think what's important is when we talk about the younger generation is always trying to leave Earth a better place than you had. And for me, I a lot of my entrepreneurship is about solving problems that I faced. So a lot of the collections, a lot of the pieces that Habibi Plz has are really based on rediscovering, relearning. So, in Arabic or in the Western world, there's this terminology about manifestation, and you need to manifest it. But in Arab culture, we do have a similar concept, actually, in Islam and Arab culture. And it's how to rediscover that, how to learn it, and how to appreciate it more.
And I just really appreciate that you are basically teaching youth also about the future, but like about their culture. Because I think that gets lost in translation with just technology and just new world problems, but just knowing where you come from and being proud of that is really important. And I love to see what you're doing with that.
It's funny, what I constantly have to remind myself when I design. I'm not a designer of profession. God bless Canva.
But your creativity.
The creativity, but it's also the creativity of realizing, what do I need to hear? Or what was missing? Or what was... And I think this is very important. I think being an entrepreneur is problem or solving a problem that you're faced with, right? So part of me relearning and to rebuttal any argument about... I wrote one of my university papers about how Arabs, Muslims are represented as the 3 Bs. The belly dancer, exotic, harem, etc. The bombers, intolerant, loud, backwards, and billionaires, lots of money, don't know what to do with it. And writing this paper for university was like, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
But the more and more you live it in the West, you live the discrimination, live the racism.
Yeah.
And that's where I realized a purpose. I'm a 6'2", 6'3". My name is Mohamed. I'm born on 9/11. Those are all facts that are real.
Yeah.
But I also understood that I'm also responsible of standing up to injustice.
Yep.
I am responsible of, putting people back in their place when they should be, because the tide is changing, and the tide has changed. And this is what I think is very important is a lot of the entrepreneurship ecosystem, they're trying to find the next $1 million, $1 billion. But I think what's important is to also be authentic in trying to find what are the problems that you're solving for your day-to-day.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. Yes. I love what you said, being authentic, because that doesn't come easy these days with AI, ChatGPT, social media. Like, who are you? Is that you speaking, or is that what you've Googled? You know, so I couldn't agree more.
You know, I'll turn that in saying, even if you had to write a prompt to AI to describe yourself without using title, money, materialistic things, what kind of prompt would you tell ChatGPT?
Yeah.
so it can vocalize that. And I think that's the issue. With all those different technologies, I see them as tools. But
for sure.
The more you are authentic in knowing yourself,
exactly,
the more you are authentic in understanding what you crave more.
Yeah.
I'm going to do the most cliche thing here, but one of the most interesting words I've heard, authenticity is about intimacy.
Mm-hmm.
And intimacy is into me, you see. So how can I have an intimate conversation, an intimate connection, intellectually or spiritually with somebody, if I do not know who I am, so I can show myself unapologetically to you?
Yeah.
And I think that's the issue. I think a lot of the people, especially where we live in a society nowadays that perfectionism and wheels and filters and are dictating a lot of our narratives.
Yeah.
We tend to forget what's important.
Yeah, I agree. And I think, not to go off subject, but I think that for me, like, being authentic is like really important. But sometimes, you do have a hard time of knowing who you are because of trauma, whatever. Then you've recreated this version of yourself. But then the core of you is important, to know and dig. And that is where therapy plays a huge role for me, of staying in line of like, this is the core of me. This is who I represent. Doesn't matter what country, doesn't matter what room I walk in. You are going to get the most authentic Nikki Jean. So leading by example is like important.
Totally agree.
Yeah.
I being a person of neurodivergent and growing up with ADHD, I was always told, tone down, or change that, speak less, do this, do that, with the perspective of trying to make me fit in. And then it's the people around me that told me, maybe you're not meant to fit in.
Yeah.
Maybe you're meant to stand out.
Exactly.
And that gets exhausting a bit of the times, that to have that journey.
Yeah.
To realize what battles are you going to have to face and focus on. But going back to that point is authenticity is also the people you choose you surround yourself with.
Yes, that's important. Your
because,
village.
Yeah, your village. You are the total of the 5 people you surround yourself with. So it's funny because since I moved back to Qatar, it's having all those people that were telling me, don't forget, don't let go, don't ignore the things you've learned to try to fit in back here.
Yeah.
And I think that's where it's interesting, and I think that's where authenticity lies, right? Is the ability of it's funny, but one of the collections of Habibi Plz is a carpet, a Persian carpet as a background, and it's written authenticity in Arabic. And the reason I chose that design is because a Persian carpet takes years. A really good Persian carpet takes years to be made. It's made by hand. It's made with a lot of
takes
love.
Time.
Yeah, and there's a lot of mistakes sometimes at the back, right? But those mistakes is what makes this rug, and that's the complexity of it.
I know that you've mentioned briefly ADHD. Do you mind talking about that? Just, I know that is off topic, but
listen,
I love that you bring that to, the front table of what people said and all the things. So can you talk me through ADHD? When were you diagnosed, if there was a diagnosis?
It was never a diagnosis per se. It was always my teachers in high school criticizing my constant behavior and not fitting in, how disruptive, how harmful I was to others. When in reality, I found my place when I started volunteering for Reach Out to Asia when I was a child back in when I was 15. And that's where I discovered my superpower. I discovered... I
love that you said superpower.
And this is it. When we talk about the diagnosis, I felt that diagnosis limited me more than anything else, and trying to medicate me. But I was the only one who was able to wake up at 7 a.m. and work till 7 and 8 and 9 because I was driven by passion. I appreciate the excel people, the people who are like they like to excel and they like to, but I also realized where are my strengths.
Right.
I'm a macro visionary. a person that is not, I don't gamble, but I risk take. And I realize that me being loud and me being persuasive and me being social and me being empathetic, all those different things are what helped me to create the change.
Yep.
You know, there are great people who are able to innovate and create systems and follow systems, but that's not me. I'm able to. I've done it for a few years. I've worked in different sectors, healthcare and banking. Those were amazing skills that I gained. But my ADHD, I don't see it as a hinder, but if anything, as a superpower.
Yeah, absolutely. And I am so grateful that you have shared that, because I think that a lot of us that were born in the time that we were born in are also walking around undiagnosed and had the same issues. Same for me. Like, I had great grades, but, the social issues were, okay, she talks too much in class, she's not focused, she's not this. But my grades were still who I was. And, as you said, these superpowers, like this is how I operate, and I was okay with operating like that. So I just love that. And that's what authenticity is about, you being who you are.
Fun fact, the word neurodivergent is the first time I use it today. Like, because while I was preparing, it's not because I'm minimizing it. It's because it's the labels that we keep on adding, or society requires to add, so they can try to compartmentalize us in different ways.
Yeah, I agree.
What I'm trying to say is it's always being open-minded and always being welcoming to criticism, but also to be careful, because there's a lot of people who will try to dim your light in a way or another, because you intimidate them. And I realize I'm a personality that can do that.
I see, I understand that.
But I'm not too much.
Yeah, you're just enough. You are who you are.
I am who I am, but maybe also I need to make sure that I don't surround myself with people who are not enough.
I hear you.
I think that's a bit harsh, but that's the reality that I came up with.
But just what you said earlier, you are, just as good as the 5 people that you surround yourself around. So I also agree. You being authentic, you also knowing who you are and what you need to be surrounded around. So I completely understand.
Yes, totally.
Okay, so that is kind of taking us to youth leadership innovation. You've mentioned that word a few times. So you've spent a numerous amount of years like empowering young people across the Arab world. What do you think today's youth need most from communities and leaderships around them?
First of all, let me just clarify something. I got empowered as a youth in Qatar.
Nice.
Between the projects and initiatives between Sheikh Amayasa and Sheikh Moza, and all those different initiatives have empowered me.
Yeah.
And given me the opportunity to be sitting here right now and bragging and saying that I speak all those languages, or I've been to those universities, or lived all over the world. It's because of the foundation and the opportunities of me being able to find myself.
Yeah.
And I think that's the beauty of it, where I didn't fit in really in the sports, I didn't really fit in the school. Yeah. But I fit in giving back as a volunteer, and that's where I got empowered.
Love that for you, man.
And that empowerment was almost, you give what you got kind of thing. And with the youth company, that was something that, over 15 years, opening a social enterprise for empowering and developing the youth was not heard of here in Qatar or in the region.
Yeah.
But I forgot the question. But
I mean, just like what the youth need. I think
to give what we got kind of thing. But it's also important to realize something important, or it's vital to know. There are 200 million Arab youth. We're actually one of 30% of the Arab population are youth under 30.
Wow.
Unemployment is one of the highest. For the last 25 years, 25% of those youth are unemployed. So what do they need is opportunities. They really need the chances to be given the keys.
Yeah.
They need to be able to, and I think the word here is trust. That's what the youth need. They need to be trusted to fail fast and grow and learn. But that's how innovation happens. I think this is what's important for us, is Arab youth have so much talent, have so much potential. For the last 6 months, I've been I've been not touring, but going around. I've been to Riyadh, I've been to Cairo,
Yeah.
I've been, and going to those major cities. It's incredible to see the creativity.
Yeah.
And that's something I'm working on right now
Yeah.
to try to see how we can create a launch pad for the youth.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love that. I also was just someone where I didn't really get in, the sports space. I was in the creative space. I was in Glee Club. I was volunteering. And that really made me who I am today. And you can see as an adult, we've turned into those. Like we are them still, but we're just older. You know what I mean? So
I remember we went on several meetings together, and one of the meetings when we came out, and you're like, no, I'm not, no, and I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah.
She's exactly saying how my attitude, like we were in a meeting of a bunch of people lecturing us on what we should or shouldn't do. While they're just sitting there and not doing anything. But they were very good at criticizing. And it was hot, it was the summer, and we're trying to get things confirmed.
Absolutely.
And you just said, nope, I'm not. And I'm like, okay. That energy is, having that attitude is what's important. And also remembering the purpose. I think that's where intention, we spoke about it earlier. The purpose comes also from intention. Trying to create the path.
And I think that's why I've connected with you so much, because I understand you. Real recognize real, you know? And so I really understand you. I understand the drive. I see you. I see me and you. And so I'm just happy you were able to witness that moment, because that moment fueled me. Those no's fuel me. Don't tell me no.
And that's what frustrates me even more. We just did that a few months ago, but I did those meetings 15 years ago, and they were telling me no. And those were the same people in the meeting that were saying, the youth company, we love what you did, but why are you not willing to take a risk?
Exactly.
And I think that comes from the perfectionism. Comes from, let's not do anything that could potentially bring attention to us or mistakes. And I think that's the issue. Or the advice that I would want to give to youth is fail. Fail.
It's
fail
okay.
faster. The faster you fail, the faster you try, and the faster the innovative. I think it's very important for people to remember that the core function of the brain is to help you survive. So if your survival is on getting that ballroom, your brain will make whatever it is. And did. And I'm very grateful for that. And man. And that goes back to also what you said, is just like, the top 5 people. And at that time, you were the top 5 people in that moment for that space. So I appreciate that. And I agree. So going to Youth Fest, because that's essentially something that you had to go through the nose and all the things. You created that, and it was Qatar's first urban youth-led sustainability festival. That was a really bold vision, because as you said, sometimes we forget about the youth, but the youth is our future. So what was the driving force behind that? What impact did you see come from that initiative? Again, as I'm involved right now with Qatar Museums in developing the new teen hub, that's a working name. I don't pretend to know it all. If anything, I need to bring all the different stakeholders, communityship. Bring all the different leaders from the community and the stakeholders and shareholders, and bring them together. Because first of all, that's where community and conversation starts. But doing an urban festival is unheard of. But it's, again, the experiences that I've received or had in the West or in other countries. With a Qatari tone. And that's the most interesting thing. When we say young people need opportunities, it's not just talking. It's not trying to lecture it. Or trying to follow a syllabus. It's about giving the power to the youth. I think I was talking to some people earlier this week, and they were talking about how creating projects and initiatives for youth, the most important shareholder and stakeholder is the parents. And I was like, wait, what? Who are we trying to empower here? Who's the noun in this sentence? And I think this is where there's a lot of people who don't know how to handle or deal with youth, because it doesn't follow what's the norm. And that's where creativity comes in. Creativity and innovation, and more importantly, authenticity. So I think the root is authenticity. And the branches are innovation. And that's how we're able to invent and reinvent new platforms and new initiatives for young people. So it's not about me, about doing that youth fest. It's about generating a platform to make sure
exactly. And so many ideas will be developed out of that or born out of that. Inshallah, that's the goal, right?
Connections. And that's what's happening, you know. It all starts with an idea. Is what if we get a Mini Cooper and we get an artist to draw on it? Maybe looking back at it, the Mini was small, but that's the beauty of it. Also, it's trying
you think big.
Yeah.
Right.
Think big and small, and that's how it starts.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, many people, not even just youth, but if, you know, our focus is youth today, they struggle with identity, purpose, and direction because, as you mentioned, you know, the parents are the stakeholders, which means that the parents say yes, no, tells them how to think, how to dress, all the things. How do you think creativity can be used as tools to help them find their voice and place in this world? Because they also deserve to find identity and purpose and direction at a young age.
It's a trial and error matter.
Yeah.
You know, I was very frustrated in Canada and the US that I didn't have a single item that could represent me. So I just, you know, took a risk and just went on Alibaba. Don't know how it works. And it's Alibaba. It goes against everything I believe in. Now, Habibi Plz is a fully sustainable, eco-friendly brand. But I started and I saw there was a need. And there was a want. And that's where what I'm going to try to say to young people is what excites you isn't random. You know, I get very excited on fighting injustice in a way or another while making impact. And I think over the years I've realized that there's a huge difference between gambling and risk taking. I didn't throw all my money on buying those full fuel products, but I convinced myself, you know what, Habibi Plz is a community standing up for ourselves, even though I couldn't find those people. And then slowly the brand grew that it brought people together.
Exactly.
In some extent, you know, we ended up having pop-up sale in one of our events in one day for $25,000.
Nice.
Not only that, people showed up and wanted to be part of it.
Exactly.
And the reason was I started.
Exactly.
Just take the first step. Take the first leap. Take the first pen. And nowadays, with all due respect, what's your excuse? With you know, all the adults complain about ChatGPT. Well, you have every single tool that's there, and being blessed in a place like Qatar, you are surrounded by people who are leading unbelievable and amazing opportunities.
I agree.
So I think it's a matter of trying to just try. Try to fail. I think that's the easiest thing, because the faster you fail, the faster you try. And don't take anything personal. I think that's the thing that...
man, that's hard. Even
if your rejection in that meeting, after that meeting we came back from, you took it personal.
The event wouldn't have happened.
Oh, no, not at all. Exactly. And it's seeing fierce women like you. It's being surrounded by people who are doing amazing things. And that's why surround yourself with the 5 people you surround yourself with, or you are that. But you know, as a person of color, you know, an American in Doha, like there's so many different factors that could be excuses. You're a woman, you're this, you're that. But in reality, actually, you turn those as a superpower, and you're like, that's what...
That means nothing to me.
If anything, I believe it's a superpower. I think it's a superpower of changing the status quo.
Exactly.
And you changing that status quo, you're opening other... I sound like my parents now, which is...
Because we're grown folks now.
We've grown up. But it's... What's the worst thing that's going to happen if you fail?
Right.
You know, what's the worst thing that you're going to... You
learn.
Totally.
That's the best thing. Yes, you fail, but you learn. And pick yourself up and do it again, man.
100%.
In a different way.
100%.
You know, this isn't the first time that I've done something, so...
To build up your muscles, you need to tear them down.
Absolutely.
You know, it's that's the perspective that we need to keep in mind. I think community conversation is bringing like-minded folks that will learn and add value to that. Because right now I feel pumped. I'm feeling pumped from our conversation. And this is the energy, because there are people who take value or add value. So surround yourself with people who will add that value.
Exactly. That's the goal. That's really the goal. Okay, so through Habibi Plz, I just love it. You've created a brand that challenges stereotypes, as you said, while celebrating the community. How do you balance cultural authenticity, right? Because there's one thing of me being authentic, but like culturally authenticity with innovation and global relevance, because we went from Canada to here, and it's still going. As soon as it goes online, it's...
So this is, exactly. This is one of the biggest challenge. And again, I'm not doing a brand for the sales of it. I'm doing a brand to be authentic.
Yeah.
It's funny because a lot of the different collections that came out were about things I was living. And one of the clashes that I realized, I just didn't want to import things from the West, even though it was Arab things that I created there. I get it. But it's collaborations. Yeah. It's co-creation. Yeah. It's not trying to, we talk a lot about colonization, all those different things. As a brand, I don't want to come into the market and saying this is where. No, it's about empowering local artists, local enterprises.
If I can do it, you can too.
Exactly. Yeah. You see what I mean? So there's a fine line, and we're fine tuning it as we go. But there is a really cool new partnership that's coming out from this, where I partnered with a local friend of mine. Nice. She's local, but she's also a creative. She's an artist. And I've reached out to her, and I was like, if you had to reimagine what Habibi Plz would be from a Qatar point of view. And she came up with something that was amazing. Cool. Even though it's a word that I use every day. Yeah. But that's the beauty of creating something like Habibi Plz. It's not it's a community, it's a platform to let people stand up and wear proud what's missing and what's not representing them. And I think that's very powerful.
And it starts off as one thing, and as it develops and grows, it just turns into something bigger than you think.
Like we all do. Like that's how we, and I think that's the beauty of it. From going from a company that just sold fans to now from a lifestyle brand or a streetwear brand and now a lifestyle brand. I didn't know the difference between those terminologies a few years ago, but I think it's also, that's where it's exciting. Yeah. It's creating that passion to represent people who were not represented correctly over the years.
I think that you definitely have created something that is like from just youth empowerment to now, this line. What advice do you think you would give young culture entrepreneurs or creatives who want to start something meaningful but don't know where to begin?
Try, fail, reach out. Yeah. I think again, I was born and raised here. I left for a few years and I came back. I act as if I don't know this country.
Because essentially, you know it, but it's shifted so much.
It keeps on shifting, but that's also where I need to shift.
Exactly.
I need to understand what's the difference between V1 and 7.
Right.
Scale 7. Yeah. Understanding the different offerings in communities 1, and realizing that there's other trailblazers trying to do different things. Yeah. And I think that's the advice, is keep showing up. Yeah. Keep trying. If trying today is by showing up to a networking event, is by messaging somebody on, messaging you on Instagram or me or... people are there. Yes. And I think knowledge transfer, as I mentioned, is something that's very exciting, because a lot of the people don't realize that when you work on something day and night for 2-3 years, you kind of are missing a fresh perspective. And that's where the youth are also very important. Exactly. We need you. Yeah. Do not underestimate. And I think this is where it's the most important. You don't need us. We need you. Yeah. Because you're the generation that made money out of TikTok. Yeah. We didn't. We weren't.
Missed the boat. We missed the boat.
We missed the boat completely. But you're not only like sailing you have a cruise ship company because of it, right? Yeah. And I think this is it. And we're like, I make fun of how my parents used to hold the phone, and I'm the one's like, how do you? Yes. Right. And I think this is where we need you.
1,000%.
But just start talking our language. Yeah. Communicate with us in the right language. Yeah. Don't come to us and be like, oh, I want a salary.
Because that's a thing as well. And it's just like, wait a minute. Let's meet. Let's understand each other first.
Let's understand each other, and let's see how I can understand your added value and how you can add value, right?
Let's make it make sense.
Exactly. Because also people working for free shouldn't be a thing, but let's change the terminologies. Yeah. Right? Let's change the perspective, and more importantly, change your story. Yeah. Everything stops because It's the narrative or the story you're telling yourself.
Yeah.
If I don't get paid, then you're using me. But what do I have to use? And I think that's important. Changing the narrative, changing the story you keep on telling yourself. This is a learning experience. I was doing a presentation helping out a friend that needed help for a presentation, and I had to learn Canva. And it's so funny.
And that's a whole different thing. I'm like, we know
later,
PowerPoint. Like, what's this?
A few years later, I told her, if it wasn't for that situation of helping you with that presentation, I wouldn't have learned Canva. I wouldn't have learned and had the right tools to design. I wouldn't have had a fashion brand. And I think this is the narrative. If I look back at it, things make sense.
And the exposure, right? That's big. You being exposed to that application really help you see things differently and to tune into your creative aspect. Last question. We did run out of time. It was really, really amazing.
We can do this for hours.
Literally. I know. We
do
this and we've done this. Yes. So if you could leave one message for young people listening today, what would you want them to remember about leadership, creativity, and community?
Leadership, creativity, and community are things that you consistently need to build up and show up for. Community starts by meeting Nikki, or Nikki will introduce you to somebody. It's something that you kind of create with compound interest, if that makes sense. With innovation, same thing. With creativity, it's the same thing. You need to constantly be able to try, fail, try again, and fail again. You know, because that's the only way you're going to go and innovate and discover new things. You know, I've always had that idea in the back of my head. Oh my God, I should do a podcast.
Same. And then
I realized today is my first time being on a podcast.
And you're like,
so it's a bit weird. It's a bit scary. I don't know what to do. And now I'm like,
nothing you can't handle.
You know what? I should do this.
Exactly.
Community conversation with the community. It's because I showed up.
Exactly.
I did not say no. What's the worst that's going to happen? Am I going to make a fool out of myself? Absolutely not, because I trust you. I built that trust with you. And that wouldn't have happened if we didn't go to that meeting and I clicked with you with the empathy of what you were going through in that meeting. And it's things that pile up. Things that help. And stop thinking that a relationship is a place where you go and take. It's a place where you go and give. Because if I give you and you give me, we keep on giving to each other, we keep on growing, and we keep enriching the circle of people around us. So
I appreciate that.
It's a long advice, but
I think it's amazing. And I think, something else that you said earlier was like, DM the person, go to the event. Like, we're also, and for me as an expat, sometimes it's hard to just get up and go and build community. But as you said, you have to build it. It's not going to come knock on your door.
You see, it's the story you're telling yourself. As the expat, you have more opportunities than the person who's local. Why? Because you come with innovation. You come with ideas. And again, it's the narrative and the story we keep on telling ourselves. We all can tell us stories and narratives that will fit the situation and the mindset we want. Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate this, and thank you for the amazing work you do in general for the community.
Thank you.
I really appreciate you.
Thank you. Same. And I've been seeing you just from the first time that we met and talking about what you're going to do, and you do it. And I love that. Don't talk about it, be about it. And you do that. So it just keeps me motivated because we are literally same. So I'm just proud to see your work, come to life and to continue to support it and see what the future looks like for you. So thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you so much.
I
appreciate it. Back to work.
Yes, back to work. Back to work.
Exactly.
Well, thank you all for joining another opportunity of Community Conversations. It has been absolutely amazing. And I think the biggest thing that we can learn from today's conversation is go build. Go build your community. It is not going to come to you. Thank you.